Mortgage debt is a primary contributor to high household indebtedness, but for couples separating, it can become very complicated. Joining us now is Patty Levitt-Reid. Patty.
You know, it can be very complicated, and you just highlighted the fact that debt levels have continued to grow. And when couples, unfortunately, may come to the conclusion that they're not going to be able to make it together, something they may not have considered, and Shulman Law pointed this out to me, they said when you have a loan and you've taken it out, it may be for the household, but you've taken it out just in your name, you have responsibility for paying that loan back. And in some cases, it could be because maybe you were lazy, maybe you were away, maybe you were indifferent about the loan. Sometimes you sign on documentation and you don't realize the unintended consequence of something that could happen that maybe you didn't see happening or coming your way. And so when I spoke to Shulman Law, they said, you know, sometimes what happens when you get into that situation, you may have to sell the matrimonial home sooner. If there are children involved, you may have to, you know, move them out of the school that they become accustomed to. Settlements and negotiations get a lot more sticky. And, you know, you don't have time to investigate the assets and income in terms of support obligations. So you kind of put it all together and you realize, and Michael Cochran is someone that you and I both worked with over the years, and I've done stories on this, and he said, it's a horrible thing to say, but those who are really savvy, this is a big life financial event, and you need to plan it like you plan any other event. So often some of the warning signs, if you don't see them coming, if you're a stay-at-home spouse and you're encouraged to go and get a job, or if all of a sudden, you know, there's a shifting around of assets or liabilities. Sure, in Ontario, you're subject to equalization, and I encourage people who watch us right now across the country in different provinces to say, okay, if this is an unfortunate event that's going to happen in my life, you need to know the details of it before you find yourself in it.
Darren Sissons, in your practice at Campbell Lee and Ross, are you often presented with such family situations that disrupt a family's retirement savings?
Yeah, divorces is clearly a big one. Assets get cut in half generally.
Yep.
And then the big issues, as Patty's correctly pointing out, is you have debt that you've got to deal with. If, for example, the entrepreneurs, then, you know, who controls the company. You've got issues such as who's going to fund the kids' RESPs. It is a big issue, and you've got to plan it. And I think Patty pointed out correctly. You need to plan it like you would, for example, plan for a death or an inheritance. What you're going to do and how you're going to manage it. So I think that's very good advice. People should take note of that.
Thank you,
Patty Levitt-Reid. My guest host, Darren Sissons, coming up on the sector rotation in the equity market. He'll tell us about a disconnect he sees between interest rate expectations and how that's creating opportunities in the stock market. He'll name a couple of stocks that he thinks are opportunities right now after this.